Here's a truth most people won't say out loud: after 50, and especially after 60, so many women start to feel invisible, not because you've faded, but because the world has stopped looking. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like no one really noticed you, or looked at a group photo and realized you blended right into the background? But imagine this. What if one small change in your closet, just one well-chosen color, could shift everything? What if the right shade could make people stop, look again, and wonder, what is it about her that I can't ignore? This video isn't just about fashion or clothing, it's about the psychology of color and the way it speaks louder than words. It's about using color as a tool to reclaim your presence, your confidence, and the magnetic energy that never truly left you. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 colors you rarely hear about, 5 shades that can instantly help you stand out, feel radiant, and remind the world that you are still here, still vibrant, and still unforgettable. Because the truth is, age doesn't erase your beauty, it deepens it, it sharpens it, and it makes it even more valuable. So, are you ready to rediscover the colors that will wake up the part of you the world forgot to see? Sapphire blue isn't just another pretty color, it's a shade with real psychological power.
This is where we need
Studies
to
have
find
shown
new
that
ways
deep
to
blue
connect with our
tones trigger
community
feelings of
and
trust,
provide
calm
resources
authority,
for
and
those
subtle
who need them
magnetism.
most.
According to research from the University of British Columbia, people perceive others in darker shades of blue, especially sapphire, as more dependable, more competent, and easier to connect with. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how someone walking into a room in a sapphire blue blazer instantly seems more grounded, more confident, more memorable? I'll never forget one of my clients, a 62-year-old woman who had a high school reunion coming up. For years she stuck to black or beige because she thought those colors were safe. This time, I convinced her to wear a silk blouse in sapphire blue. When she walked into the reunion, her friends gasped. She told me later that the compliments came non-stop. "You look so radiant, you haven't changed a bit, you seem younger than ever." And when she saw the group photos afterward, her eyes sparkled in a way she hadn't seen in years. That's the power of sapphire blue. It doesn't scream for attention, it draws it naturally. In fashion, sapphire blue works beautifully in silk blouses, tailored jackets, scarves, and even eyeglass frames. It pairs effortlessly with silver jewelry, crisp white, or shades of gray. If you're looking for a more subtle touch, try a sapphire handbag or a pair of pumps, small accents that instantly elevate your whole look. One tip, though, avoid pairing sapphire blue with neon shades. Neon will overpower the elegance of sapphire and throw off the balance. What's even more fascinating is how sapphire blue enhances natural beauty as we age. If you've embraced silver, white, or salt and pepper hair, this shade will frame your face, brighten your complexion, and make your eyes pop without a drop of makeup. It's no accident that world leaders and TV hosts lean on this color. It communicates authority and credibility before a single word is spoken. So why shouldn't women over 50, women with life experience and wisdom, use the same visual advantage? I know what you might be thinking: isn't sapphire blue too bold for my age? The truth is, it's not bold in a flashy way. It's bold in the sense that it's quietly powerful. It's not about shouting, it's about being seen with clarity and confidence. It's a statement that says, "I'm here, I matter, and I still shine." So let me ask you, have you ever worn sapphire blue and noticed how people reacted differently? Did someone compliment your eyes, or maybe you felt a surge of confidence the moment you looked in the mirror? If not, maybe this week is the perfect time to try. Even one piece, a blouse, a scarf, or a pair of frames, could shift the way others see you, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. And if sapphire blue is the shade of elegance and trust, the next color we'll talk about taps into something deeper: quiet strength, grounded sensuality, and timeless wisdom. That color is olive green, and it might surprise you just how magnetic it can be. Olive green is one of those shades most women tend to overlook, yet it carries a very unique and unforgettable power. Psychologists say that earthy tones like olive evoke wisdom, peace, and quiet strength. Some studies in color psychology even show that softer green shades can reduce stress and make people feel more comfortable around you. And isn't that exactly what we want at this stage in life? to walk into a room and, without trying too hard, have others lean toward us because our energy feels calm, approachable, and magnetic? I remember one client of mine, 65 years old, on a trip to Europe with her husband. She chose a simple olive green wrap dress for a museum day in Paris. A stranger walked up to her and said, "You look so elegant, so natural." That moment stayed with her because she realized it wasn't the cut of the dress, it was the color. Olive green gave her an aura of quiet confidence that people couldn't help but notice. And I've had a similar experience myself. Once, I wore an olive green cardigan to a dinner party with friends. It wasn't flashy, but the number of compliments I received really surprised me. One friend said, "You just look so at ease, like you're glowing from the inside." And that made me wonder, why do we so often underestimate the power of the right shade? In fashion, olive green works beautifully in cardigans, wrap dresses, lightweight jackets, and cozy knit scarves. It pairs perfectly with gold jewelry, camel, beige, and even warm rust tones. This palette feels grounded, mature, and timeless. But here's a tip: avoid pairing olive green with neon colors. They clash and take away the subtle sophistication that olive naturally brings. Did you know, in a 2022 survey by the International Journal of Fashion Studies, nearly 68% of women over 55 said they felt more approachable when wearing earthy greens instead of black or navy? That's not a coincidence. Colors send subconscious signals, and olive green whispers authenticity, resilience, and grace. So let me ask you, have you ever tried olive green before? How did it make you feel? Did you notice any shift in how people treated you, maybe warmer smiles or more genuine conversations? If not, what's stopping you from adding just a scarf or a cardigan in this shade to your wardrobe this season? Because if sapphire blue gives us elegance and clarity, olive green brings something else. It's the color of experience, of nature, and of grounded sensuality. It quietly says, "I've lived, I've grown, and I carry it all with grace." And that kind of presence is far more attractive than any loud trend. And if olive green is the shade of wisdom and calm magnetism, the next color takes us in an entirely new direction. It's bold, radiant, and brings warmth back to the face like sunlight on the skin. That color is deep mustard. Let's dive into it next. Deep mustard isn't just another shade of yellow, it's bold, warm, and completely unforgettable. It's not the bright, flashy yellow you might think of, it's deeper, richer, more mature. Color psychologists say that mustard tones spark feelings of optimism, intelligence, and vitality, while still carrying a sense of grounded confidence. In fact, according to a 2021 Pantone Institute survey, over 60% of respondents described deeper yellow tones as reliable and timeless, compared to neon yellows which they called too loud or superficial. I think of one client, 58 years old, who usually played it safe with beige and gray. One night she decided to try a deep mustard blouse for dinner with friends. When she walked into the restaurant, the entire group froze for a second. One of her friends said, "You look like you're glowing from the inside out." She told me later that the compliments kept coming all night, and she felt more alive, more confident, and honestly more visible than she had in years. And I'll share a personal story too. I wore a deep mustard scarf with a charcoal blazer to a professional event. It wasn't anything extravagant, but the effect was immediate. A colleague leaned in and said, "That color makes you look powerful and approachable at the same time." It struck me. Sometimes one simple accessory in the right shade can change how the world sees you, and how you see yourself. In fashion, deep mustard works beautifully in sweaters for fall, blazers for work, or as an accent piece in scarves, handbags, or even shoes. It pairs effortlessly with rich browns, charcoal gray, and deep forest green, and if you add gold jewelry into the mix, the result is warm, elegant, and full of energy. Here's my tip though. Stay away from neon pinks or bright oranges with this color. They'll overwhelm it and take away from its understated sophistication. Have you ever worn mustard yellow before? How did it make you feel? Did you notice people looking twice, maybe offering compliments you weren't expecting? If you haven't tried it yet, why not start small, with a scarf, a handbag, or even a pair of mustard pumps? Sometimes the smallest pop of color is all it takes to light you up. What I love most about deep mustard is how it flatters mature beauty. It brings warmth back to the skin, it brightens silver or dark hair, and it creates a natural glow without makeup. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Visual Psychology found that muted golden tones increased perceptions of curiosity and connection by nearly 20% compared to bright yellows. No wonder this color catches attention in a way that feels effortless. But more than that, deep mustard carries a message. It says, "I'm still here, and I'm not afraid to be seen." That's a statement worth making, no matter your age. So if sapphire blue is the color of trust, and olive green is the color of wisdom, then deep mustard is the shade that reignites our inner spark. It reminds us that we're vibrant, creative, and fully alive. And if you've ever thought yellow wasn't your color, maybe it's time to try again, because you might just find yourself glowing in ways you never expected. And now, if deep mustard brings warmth and vitality, the next shade takes us somewhere else entirely. It's mysterious, regal, and quietly powerful. A color once reserved for women of influence and royalty, plum wine, rich, velvety, and unforgettable. Let's dive into that next. Plum wine is one of those colors that carries mystery, depth, and a quiet kind of power. It's not loud like fire engine red, and it's not safe like beige or gray. Instead, it's a shade that feels layered, refined, and dignified. Historically, plum tones were reserved for royalty and women of influence. And even today, that same sense of elegance and authority comes through the moment you wear it. Color psychology tells us that deep purple tones like plum wine are strongly linked to wisdom, sensuality, and sophistication. In fact, a 2019 study in the Color Research and Application Journal found that over 55% of participants associated rich purple hues with intelligence and luxury. So it's no surprise that when a woman steps out in plum wine, people take notice, even if they can't explain why. I'll never forget the story of a mother, age 60, who wore a plum wine evening gown to her daughter's wedding. She didn't pile on jewelry, she didn't need sequins or sparkle. Just a simple dress in this rich, velvety shade, paired with a pair of silver earrings. When she walked into the room, the entire atmosphere shifted. Guests later told her she was the most memorable image of the day, second only to the bride herself. That's the magic of plum wine. It doesn't fight for attention, it commands it naturally. And for me personally, plum wine has become my go-to when I want to look special without being flashy. I once wore a plum cashmere sweater to a winter dinner party. It wasn't extravagant, but the compliments I received were different. Instead of, "That's a nice sweater," people said, "You look so elegant," or, "There's something about you tonight." The truth is, this shade has a way of connecting you to your own inner strength and maturity. When it comes to fashion, plum wine is incredibly versatile. It shines in evening gowns, cashmere sweaters, silk blouses, or even just a plum lipstick or scarf. It pairs beautifully with black, cream, navy, and camel. And if you want to enhance its regal vibe, silver jewelry or amethyst stones are perfect choices. Let me ask you, have you ever worn plum wine before? How did it make you feel? Did you notice how people looked at you differently, maybe lingering a little longer, or speaking to you in a softer, more attentive way? If you haven't tried it yet, why not start with something simple, like a scarf, a blouse, or even a lipstick? One of the most fascinating things about this shade is how it enhances mature beauty. It complements silver, white, or salt and pepper hair, and it makes every eye color, brown, blue, green, stand out more vividly. A 2022 Harper's Bazaar survey found that women over 55 wearing deep purple tones were rated as more sophisticated and mysteriously attractive, nearly 30% more often than when they wore lighter shades. That's proof that plum wine isn't just a color, it's a strategy, a tool to highlight your presence. For me, plum wine feels like a reminder. You don't have to shout to be remembered. You don't have to sparkle to be magnetic. You just need to show up in your truth, in your depth, in your power. And that's exactly what this color communicates. So if you're looking for a shade that embodies mystery, refinement, and timeless allure, plum wine is it. It quietly says, "I am strong, I am experienced, and I am still captivating." And if plum wine gives us mystery and soulful power, the next shade is something completely different. It's about strength, wisdom, and the kind of elegance that's been forged over time. That color is stone gray, understated but unforgettable. Let's explore why it may just be the ultimate confidence color. Stone gray is one of those colors people often dismiss as dull, but the truth is, it's anything but. It's a shade that symbolizes strength, intelligence, and composure that's been earned over time. In color psychology, gray is seen as a signal of stability, trust, and emotional balance. In fact, a 2020 color marketing group study found that more than 70% of people associated gray clothing with credibility and intellectual authority. I'll never forget a story about a 70-year-old woman who was invited to speak at a large community conference. Instead of choosing something bright or flashy, she wore a tailored stone gray blazer. When she stepped onto the stage, the entire room grew quiet. People weren't just listening to her words, they were captivated by her presence. The blazer gave her an aura of dignity and quiet power. And afterward, many attendees told her she looked strong, elegant, and deeply persuasive. I've experienced something similar myself. Once, I wore a simple stone gray shift dress with a white silk scarf to an important meeting. I didn't hear, "Gray looks boring on you." Instead, I heard, "You look calm, professional, and incredibly trustworthy." That's when I realized, stone gray doesn't dull your presence, it sharpens it. It clears the stage so your eyes, your smile, and your energy take the spotlight. In fashion, stone gray is a workhorse color. It's perfect for blazers, trousers, long sweaters, and clean-cut dresses. And it elevates instantly when you choose the right fabrics. Wool, silk, or suede give it richness and depth. As for pairing, gray with white feels crisp and pure, with blush pink it softens beautifully, and with navy it becomes sleek and professional. Add silver jewelry or pearls, and the look transforms into understated luxury. Have you ever tried wearing stone gray? Did you notice how differently people treated you? Maybe they spoke to you with more respect, listened more intently, or looked at you as someone grounded and dependable. If you haven't tried it yet, why not test it with a blazer, a wrap, or even just a knit sweater? It might surprise you how powerful you feel in such a subtle shade. A 2022 Harper's Bazaar survey revealed that women over 60 wearing gray tones were rated as intelligent, trustworthy, and refined, 35% more often than when they wore lighter shades. That tells us gray isn't forgettable, it's a statement of resilience and sophistication. It's like psychological armor, projecting calm strength without saying a word. For me, every time I wear stone gray, I feel like I'm sending a message. I don't need to shout, I don't need neon colors to be seen. All I need is to stand in my own stillness, and people notice. That's the quiet authority of stone gray, simple yet commanding. And when you think about it, after sapphire blue with its trust, olive green with its wisdom, deep mustard with its warmth, and plum wine with its mystery, stone gray completes the palette with earned elegance and composure. It's proof that age doesn't fade us, it refines us. Wouldn't you agree that sometimes, simplicity is the most unforgettable style of all? Sapphire blue is the color of elegance and trust. Olive green speaks of peace and wisdom. Deep mustard brings warmth and surprise. Plum wine holds mystery and quiet power. And stone gray reflects strength and refined composure. Age doesn't make you fade. It's how you choose to show up that makes all the difference. You don't disappear after 60. You are the moment, the presence the world needs to see. Color isn't just fashion. It's a language that declares who you are. It's a tool to honor your value. And a way to radiate the energy you've carried through a lifetime. So try a new color this week. Don't wait for a special occasion. Because you are the occasion. Drop a comment below and tell me, which color makes you feel most like yourself? And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring style and lifestyle tips for confident, radiant women over 50. And remember, what you saw today is just one important piece of the puzzle. If you're truly serious about feeling more confident, more youthful, and more beautiful every single day, then the next video, 7 blouse mistakes women over 60 must stop now, healthy aging style tips, is the one you absolutely cannot miss. Click it now because it's the next step to unlocking your most powerful, stylish, and unforgettable self.